could you do that, Andrew? How could you do it? Why on earth did you feel the need to trade this guy to a division opponent for a 5th-round draft pick? Fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap, because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy. And you allow these people to do this. You have the worst offense in the league. Your GM screwed this quarterback thing up like I've never seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Kids that play Madden could have done a better job. Truly. That's not hyperbole. It's a joke. It's a joke. This franchise has become a joke. And I'm sick.
Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm right there with people in Cleveland. Joe Flacco burned down the whole AFC North last night, and he certainly burned down Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. That game last night, that's one of the best Thursday night football games that I've ever seen. That it wasn't AFC North football because there was virtually no defense played, although look, Cincinnati did turn over Pittsburgh twice last night, but that was a fun game, and it had so much significance for not just the Steelers, not just the Bengals, but for the Cleveland Browns. It's finally giving us some clarity on why the Cleveland Browns quarterback room and franchise is such a mess. It's what I've been saying. Everybody wants to blame Jimmy Haslam. He's the owner. He's got the target on his back. But I'm not so sure that he's the problem. I mean, he's been a problem, and he's allowing Andrew Berry, the president, general manager, whatever, to get crossways with Kevin Stefanski and make a mess in the quarterback room. But just like I told Steve Kim yesterday, giving Joe Flacco to the Pittsburgh Steelers, to the Cincinnati Bengals, a mistake, a sign of incompetence. And just like I told Steve Kim yesterday, that, hey man, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks, gifted, accomplished quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. His greatness, no matter how this ends with the Jets, with the Steelers, his greatness is unquestioned. But right now, today, who's a better quarterback? Joe Flacco or Aaron Rodgers? That's up for debate. Today, who's a better quarterback, Joe Flacco or Aaron Rodgers? And I said this yesterday. This isn't me, hey, the Bengals won 33-31 last night. Let me hop on the Joe Flacco bandwagon. I was telling you this yesterday morning that, like, hey, man, I'm not so sure. And Joe Flacco throws a hell of a ball. Aaron Rodgers has lost a bit of his mobility. But there's something, look, Aaron Rodgers was very good last night. I know he had 2 interceptions, but he was very good. He threw some balls on the run, on the move that I didn't think he could still do. He was but you're underestimating. There's something that myself and Mike Tomlin and people that watch the games in full, and this Steve Kim's not going to be here today. He's down in Miami for Canes football game. It's unfortunate. I'm not going to talk smack. You guys know I love Steve Kim. Steve Kim is great. You know I love Steve Kim. But Steve, this is why I don't watch Red Zone. I'm not a highlights guy. I need the games in context. And when you watch the games in context, you could see Joe Flacco in Cleveland with that mess of a team. It's like, hey man, there's something here. If he had wide receivers, if he had an offensive line, if there wasn't if the organization was all moving the same direction, Joe Flacco still got gas in the tank. And what I'm arguing is that Aaron Rodgers is the better race car. But sometimes the better race car doesn't win the race because it runs out of gas. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying yesterday about Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest cars the NFL's ever invented. But there's a Honda, Pinto, Nissan Datsun or whatever that's got more gas in the tank right now. Just a little bit more gas in the tank right now. And it's Joe Flacco, and he's going to beat Aaron Rodgers to the finish line, and that's what happened last night in an awesome game. Only thing I'm disappointed about today is that Steve Kim's not here, so I could rub this in his face personally. But I'm sure he's watching down in Miami. We're going to talk about that. I got more I need to unpack on that game last night. But I got to tell you guys what I need you to do for me before we really get rolling. If you're listening over Apple, and Tiffany, go ahead and set these drinks up right in front of me. Don't worry about if you get in the camera's way. They can still hear me. But if you're listening over Apple, hit that 5-star rating because we deserve it. Are you looking at the week we've had? We've been incredible all week. And last night, yesterday, if you had been listening to me, you would have been on the money line just like I was last night. You would have known the Bengals were going to pull off that upset. But anyway, I don't mean to brag. We'll get to my Fearless 5 picks later in the show. But hit that 5-star rating if you're listening over Apple. And while we're here, I want to thank our sponsor today, Fatty 15. Thank you, Fatty 15. That sounds like, are they talking about me when they say Fatty 15? No, they're not. As we age, many of us notice changes such as poor sleep, low energy, stiff joints, or even shifts in our blood work. Healthy aging really comes down to protecting our cells because when our cells age, our bodies age too. That's why I want to tell you about Fatty 15, a breakthrough supplement featuring C15, the first new essential fatty acid discovered in more than 90 years. Over 100 studies show that C15 strengthens cells, slows biological aging, and protects against something called cellular fragility syndrome. This newly identified nutritional deficiency may affect up to 1 in 3 people worldwide. Without enough C15 cells, we become fragile and we break down faster. Fatty 15 delivers pure, bioavailable C15 to repair cell damage, protect against future breakdown, and support critical functions like sleep regulation, brain health, liver function, and joint health. In fact, 72% of the users report benefits within 16 weeks, from deeper sleep to healthier skin, hair, and nails. Fatty 15 is vegan, science-backed, award-winning, and offers 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3. Plus, it comes in a reusable glass and bamboo jar with refill packs shipped to your door. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/fearless and using the promo code fearless at checkout. Fatty 15. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting this show. I need our viewers, our listeners, our supporters. Get you some Fatty 15. All right, let me go back to what I'm all excited about today. And did we play yet? I wanted to just, can I rub it a little bit more in Steve Kim's face? Could we play that clip, that reminder? So Steve Kim, I know he's watching in Miami. Here's me making a fool out of you yesterday, Steve. Steve Kim called me dumb when I said, hey, are we sure Aaron Rodgers is better than Joe Flacco? Are we sure right now, tonight, that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco? I'm not so sure there's this great distance between Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers.
Provocative or outlandish? Really?
Yes. It's a question.
A dumb one.
Joe Flacco just spanked that, 342 passing yards. The Bengals knocked off the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't question my football knowledge. Don't question it. And so stay tuned because, TJ Moe didn't quite call me dumb, but Luke, is my memory correct? Didn't he kind of co-sign Steve Kim? Yes, TJ Moe co-signed Steve Kim. How you like them apples, TJ? And we'll hear from TJ shortly. But anyway, let me unpack a little the significance of that game last night. The Bengals are now 3-4. The hope is not dead and gone in Cincinnati. Flacco and Fuego can hold the Bengals together and get them back in the AFC North race. And then Joe Flacco can return and maybe take them on a playoff run. The Bengals have hope. They have hope because the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4-2 perhaps are a bit fraudulent. Perhaps their upcoming schedule is going to be a real test for the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. Next weekend, Green Bay Packers, they'll play. After that, they'll host the Indianapolis Colts. Then they go on the road against the Chargers. Then they host Cincinnati. Then they play the Bears, I think they won 3 straight. They're 3-2. Then they play Buffalo, that's in a little jeopardy and not looking that great, but it's still the Buffalo Bills. It's Josh Allen. Then they'll play at Baltimore. Baltimore should have, I think this weekend, Lamar Jackson's coming back. He'll certainly be back by then. They get a bye week, basically. They play the Miami Dolphins. And then at the end of this, I think this is a 9-game run, they play at Detroit. I mean, that's a 9-game run that has 4-5, 3-6 all over it. And so let's say they go 4-5. Let's go best case scenario. 4-5, that means they would be 8-7. 8-7. Could the Bengals get there? This is why I'm not counting Baltimore out. This is why Mike Tomlin was so irate with Andrew Berry. It's not just the people in Cleveland that are irate with Andrew Berry, the president, general manager, the shot caller in Cleveland. Mike Tomlin could see this a mile away. Let's play the Tomlin clip where he's complaining about the stupidity of trading Joe Flacco within the division.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us. Because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Did you just hear what Mike Tomlin did? Do you know how unusual that is? To call someone out by name? He just called the general manager of the Cleveland Browns out by name. Because that's who Pittsburgh thinks. Now, everybody can say, oh, it's Jimmy Haslam. Mike Tomlin thinks it's Andrew Berry, and he just called him out by name. He must be a whole lot smarter than me because I don't know how in the heck you trade Joe Flacco within the division. And so that what Mike Tomlin could see is what I could see even with Joe Flacco in Cleveland. It's like, hey, man, that ball comes out on time. He knows where he wants to go with it. There's still he's got one of the strongest arms in the league. He's still accurate. If someone gives that grown man who been playing in the National Football League for dang near 20 years, someone gives him a little bit of protection and some weapons to work with, he's dangerous. So Mike Tomlin and the whole Pittsburgh organization is like, holy cow, they're sending Flacco to go play with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. This is crazy. Jamar Chase right now, after last night, I've seen a lot of people like, hey, man, I know y'all love Justin Jefferson, but Jamar Chase may be that dude. 16 receptions last night. 23 targets, 161 yards, 1 TD. Joe Flacco Joe Flacco didn't even understand the plays that were being called last night. Did you catch that in the post-game interview? Some of the plays, he didn't know what was being called. What he knew was, I got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out here, and these guys know how to get open. And I know how to get them the football. On time, catchable passes. They were toying with the Pittsburgh defense. Jalen Ramsey, they put him in a blender all night. Jalen Ramsey is not as bad as he looked last night. But that was a veteran quarterback and two very skilled receivers that were basically playing backyard football. Hey, here's what we're going to do, dog. You get to this. When you get to that car, turn right or cut right, and I'm going to get you the football. It was all night. I was like, Jalen Ramsey should have faked an injury and just got off the field. Because they damn near retired Jalen Ramsey last night. The Cincinnati Bengals they did this last night without Trey Hendrickson on defense. They had no pass rush. There are problems in the AFC North. Mike Tomlin could see it coming. Now, you can go ahead and criticize Mike Tomlin for how poor the defense played, for them losing this game, for letting a quarterback that's only been there for 10 days, blah, blah. There's all kinds of questions about Mike Tomlin. There's a stat that I saw over social media that has it been 56 straight games that Mike Tomlin's Pittsburgh Steelers have scored 7 points or less in the first quarter. And so what that's saying is, like, when everybody is scripting their offense and leaning into their game plan early in the game, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the least effective, consistently least effective. That doesn't mean they've scored the least amount of points in the first quarter, but they're good. They're one pump chumps. They got one pump in them. They might get 7 points or less in 56 straight quarters. Their recovery time after scoring a touchdown is like a 58-year-old man. You know how I know that? Because I'm 58. And you need a lot of recovery time. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers offense in the first quarter. Back in the day, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're back in action 2-3 minutes later. That ain't the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I get there's problems with Mike Tomlin, but today I'm not going to lean into that because I think this is more about the Cleveland Browns' idiocy and the uniqueness of Joe Flacco. That he's potentially, when I look at Joe Flacco right now, I'm like, this dude's a better quarterback at 40 than he was at 30, than he was at 25. And some of that may be, look, they've made the game so easy for these experienced guys with a big arm and a brain that it makes sense that the game's gotten easier over the course to play offense over the course of Joe Flacco's career. It's gotten easier. And now for the first time in his career, he's working with the best wide receiver tandem in football and maybe the best wide receiver in football. Joe Flacco was never really blessed with great passing targets. He was always blessed with a great defense and a running game in Baltimore. Now he gets to work with some real offensive talent, and the game has been made easier and simplified. So easy and so simplified, you don't even need to know the plays. He said this. Like, half the plays they were sitting in, he didn't know them. He didn't understand the lingo. But the man threw for 342 yards and was it 2 or 3 touchdowns? Three TDs. Flacco was in fuego, and he should. Andrew Berry should get run out of Cleveland. Run out, because he's the problem. This trading Flacco. You know what? Even let's say Flacco burns out the rest of the season. The next 6, 7, 8 games they ask him to play, let's say he's no good. It was still a mistake. Joe Flacco is still the best quarterback that Cleveland would have had. This was stupidity and insanity, and Mike Tomlin knows it. That's why he called Andrew Berry out by name. And the media doesn't want to talk, because all they want to talk about is Shedeur and Dylan Brooks and how racist and crazy the Cleveland Browns organization is. No. The real story is Andrew Berry has handled their QB situation like an idiot. He's made Jimmy Haslam's problems worse. Blame Haslam for Deshaun Watson. But letting Flacco go, drafting a midget in Dylan Gabriel, and then drafting Deion's baby boy, spoiled, entitled, idiot son, they created a hot mess, and everybody in the National Football League can see it. And no one in the National Football League thinks, oh, Shedeur is going to fix that. That's only Ryan Clark and a handful of other racial idolaters that just, and Deion groupies, Deion sexuals. No one else believes that because it's not true. Did I do everything I wanted to do here? I will. Jamar Chase, brother, you look like a faster Jerry Rice. I'm not saying a better Jerry Rice. I just said a faster Jerry Rice. Jamar Chase, you look like what everybody said Odell Beckham Jr. was, and he never was. You see that C they put on Jamar Chase's jersey? He's the captain of the team. This is why I prefer Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson, who comes out there and pearls and, you know, I'm sorry, just the pearls and all that. I'm not saying I don't know your business. I don't know what you're doing, but that pearl necklace you're wearing on football Sundays, and I see other players around the league doing, you're telling on yourself. You're soft as baby poop. And I get that Justin Jefferson puts up numbers, but I would much rather have Jamar Chase. That's a dog. That can put the captaincy on his jersey. A wide receiver. Wide receivers are divas and nut jobs. This guy's a captain of the Cincinnati Bengals. You give me any type of quarterback play, and this dude's putting up numbers. Hats off to Jamar Chase. All right, I'm going to bring TJ Moe, and I think we got things squared away with Paul Burkhardt. We're going to continue this conversation, bring in some other conversations, because I haven't even – the best conversation we may have today is, have you seen what Pablo Torres put out about Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson? He's got some behind-the-scenes videos of Jordon Hudson and Bill Belichick operating, engaging with people that work with or for them. It's pretty fascinating. I think most people are drawing the wrong conclusions from that video, but I'll set you straight. This is what you don't have to depend on the mainstream media. I'll give you the right take on Belichick and Jordon Hudson. We'll talk a little bit more about the Bengals and the significance of that game last night with TJ Moe and Paul Burkhardt. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you all, if you want to sip some good bourbon, And I'll be doing this next weekend. I'm having an event at my house, and I can't wait to have Flying Aces there. Some bourbons chase trends. Flying Ace chases legacy. This is straight bourbon the way it was meant to be, bold, balanced, and unapologetically American. No gimmicks, no fluff, just real whiskey made for people who still believe in hard work, high standards, and doing things the right way. Whether you're winding down after a long day or raising a glass with good company, Flying Ace delivers every time. It's not about hype, it's about heritage and getting back to what bourbon was always supposed to be. If that sounds like you're kind of poor, it's time to level up. Buy online at flyingacespirits.com. Use the promo code BLAZE for free shipping. When we come back, TJ Moe, Paul Burkhardt. Next! Tua seems a bit tone deaf here to me, or just didn't read the room here. I think this is a speech he had planned midweek during frustration, and he should have put that back in the notes jar, just put it back in reserve until the following week. Steve?
They say, what makes you the most honest? Alcohol, right? When you drink a little too much. You know what really makes you honest? Guaranteed contracts. And that's a quarterback that's probably got all his money guaranteed. He doesn't care anymore. When he said starts with leadership, that is a shot across the bow at Kid Capri Pants. Mike McDonald, right? And the other thing is, for him to say all these other guys, you're not showing up to meetings, it's over. It is over. It is the Titanic after the iceberg. There's no doubt about it that Tua's like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. It doesn't matter. And this once again shows two things. Player coaches do not work. I'm sorry. They're great in theory. They're fun for about a year. Give me a real leader. Don Shula must be rolling over in his grave with the clown show that is the Miami Dolphins.
As the NFL turns, starring quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, with special appearances from Commissioner Roger Goodell and coaches Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, and the Harbaughs. Brought to you by the global elites.
All right, welcome back to the show. We'll start the segment. TJ called me very early this morning after he was alerted to the fact that the Bengals had won the game, and he wanted to issue a rather lengthy apology for the ridiculous things he co-signed Steve Kim saying, and the really ridiculous things TJ said yesterday, questioning me and my knowledge about football. So TJ, the floor is yours for as long as you needed to issue this very thorough and passionate apology.
Well, I'm not quite ready. I'm going to give it some more thought, and at some point that apology is unlikely to ever be delivered. Here's what I would say, Jason. I did not watch the game live, but I watched this morning quite a bit of it. And what I saw is not at all what you saw or what you're describing. I mean, not even close. Here's what I saw. A really smart offensive game plan from Cincinnati. Virtually everything was a three-step drop. He didn't sit in the pocket at all. I looked up the next-gen stats on this. The ball was out in an average of 1.8 seconds. And you could say this is Flacco, which, look, Flacco was good enough to do it, but you had to have the game plan because, by the way, Rodgers did way more of the 5- and 7-step drop. Flacco, 60% of his dropbacks were three-step drops. And so he got the ball, and he got the ball out immediately. All night, you saw slants and drags and swing passes. That was it. He hit what the big one everybody thinks about, to T. Higgins down the left sideline to win the game. That was about it, though. He had, I think, 2 big passes all night. They know their offensive line sucks.
Hold for 1 second. I'm not disagreeing with you, but hold for 1 second. Let's say, oh my God, Jamar Chase caught 16 passes. He had to catch 5 of them that were out, 10 to 12 yard out routes in front of Jalen Ramsey. No, I watched this game.
Well, look, I didn't see every play like you did. I watched a bunch of it, and maybe Paul could chime in on that. The vast majority of what I saw him catch were slants were swing passes and were drag routes. The vast majority of those 16 passes. So he may have caught a few on Jalen Ramsey. But look, even one of the ones you're talking about, his touchdown was like a 6-yard touchdown or whatever it was, where he was just coming off the line.
I'm sorry. How much do those count for? The 6-yarders, they count less?
Yeah, well, when you're describing the 10 to 12-yard out routes, they don't count for that, which is what I'm
just saying, the 6-yard touchdowns, they only count 5 points. I'm glad you clarified
Flacco
that.
is a good quarterback. You're missing my point intentionally. My point is that when you have a game plan like that, and this would be a great conversation for J.B., who's been harping on this forever. It takes kind of an old school quarterback to execute that game plan because these new guys can't do stuff in rhythm. So it's a great game plan for him, but it's not like Flacco's just amazing right now. Aaron Rodgers, I thought, played a really good game. In fact, probably the best game I've seen him play since the day he left Green Bay. He was throwing well on the run. He was getting away from the passing attack. He threw one really bad pass all day, and he overthrew it down the left sideline. He way overthrew DK Metcalf. His other interception was ripped out of DK's hands. He looked really good. I mean, from a talent perspective, I thought Aaron looked better than Flacco last night.
That's right. Interceptions that are 50-50 balls that end up in the defensive back, they count less.
50-50 balls. He caught the ball.
They only call for a half of an interception.
Jason,
I'm sorry.
I'm
glad you clarified that.
Intentionally obtuse. Intentionally.
I'm just trying.
Paul, who will be our arbiter here of which one of us is correct, will tell us that while Flacco executed a very good game plan with excellent receivers, that Aaron Rodgers actually played a better game last night with what he was given.
With 2 interceptions and a loss, Aaron Rodgers played a better game than the guy that threw for 342, no interceptions, and a victory and 3 TDs, and you guys are discounting several. It wasn't just the deep ball he hit with T. Higgins. Was that T. Higgins late in the game that just iced the game?
Yes.
He hit some other. There was a third down, I think, in the third quarter where he got deep with somebody. There were several dynamic passes, in my view, from Joe Flacco. But the 342 yards in a victory, 3 TDs, no interceptions. It was all the game plan. Paul, go ahead.
TJ Moe must be a long-lost cousin of mine, and he's been on my wall all morning listening and watching what I'm writing down because he stole my thunder in the biggest way. The most valuable player last night was Zach Taylor because Zach Taylor put together an offensive game plan that would fit Joe Flacco or anybody who cannot move like him. These are slants and rub routes all night long, the absolute majority of it. On top of that, you're talking, obviously, Chase and Higgins makes all the difference in the world. That's not present in Cleveland, so you can't even compare the two. And Pittsburgh had no answer whatsoever. Now, we all had questions about Pittsburgh's defense coming in. They've been struggling to get a pass rush all year long, even with T.J. Watt on that team. And last night, against a porous offensive line for the entire season, it is like, don't even give him a chance to get there. 2-3 out, 2-3 steps out, and they weren't adjusting. Further, Arthur Smith is a very big help to the cause because Arthur Smith has struggled his entire career to adjust and to be on the fly in a game.
Defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh.
No, offensive coordinator.
Oh, I'm sorry. Offensive coordinator.
Terrell Austin, who we're familiar with in Detroit, was terrible in Detroit and terrible in Pittsburgh. Arthur Smith, he has the same opportunity to get arguably one of the best wide receivers the ball in the league, and he's got 3 catches. So this myth that we hear for years and years that a quarterback can't get the receiver a ball, that comes down to coaching. And you see 23 targets, 33 total. Yeah, 22 of 33 completed to Higgins and Chase last night. That is coaching. And then that's Flacco and the O-line and the receivers executing it. So Zach Taylor saved his ass last night. He was phenomenal. Nice job,
By the
Flacco.
way,
nice job,
Jason,
Flacco.
Don't forget, for the first time, that Cincinnati run game was spectacular last night. And so it made Joe Flacco's job a lot easier as well.
100.
So I can't remember. Is it Jake Browning that was playing before? Is that who they just put on the bench? Yeah. And so what you guys are underestimating, here's a 40-year-old man with a howitzer on his, he's got a big arm. and he's got an accurate big arm. And so when you got Jake Browning out there and you're wondering why the running game can't get going, is because you don't have to defend the entire field when Jake Browning's out there. He's got a pop gun arm. He's not as accurate as Flacco. He doesn't throw the kind of ball, as catchable ball as Flacco. It's like y'all want to give Flacco no credit because you have to defend Flacco and his arm and his accuracy differently than Jake Browning. And so, and just we're sitting here saying like, hey, we did all this for Flacco to protect Flacco. The man's only been there for 10 days. He doesn't have a full grasp of the offense, so you're a tiny bit limited there. And maybe that's why there were so many slants and rub routes and swing passes or whatever. Because Flacco was saying he didn't even understand like half the plays. I think I don't want to not give Zach Taylor credit because hats off to him. He and Flacco cooked up what they could do together. But Flacco gets a lot of credit for executing it because I watch a lot of football, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that wouldn't have been able to execute it, namely a guy named Jake Browning.
Well, look, all of that seems obvious, Jason, but I would say it differently than you because I didn't say they were protecting Joe Flacco at all, actually. I was saying they were protecting the offensive line. That's a bad offensive line. In the pass game, in the run game, there were run lanes everywhere last night. It seemed like every couple plays they'd break one off for 8 yards. And so when you can run the ball like that, it makes it very easy to throw slants because the linebackers have to step up at the potential run, and then you throw it right behind them. And it's not like they're doing a ton of play action either. And so I'm just telling you, you're acting like Joe Flacco should be leading the MVP conversation. He was making unbelievable plays all night. No, he was throwing slants and completing them, which is great, which again is an indictment on how bad the quarterback play has dropped over the years, because in 2011, we saw this in every game. It wasn't the stats like this, but this sort of game plan, the original quick game stuff, you see this all the time. Throw a slant, get right behind him. Throw an out, hit him quick. Throw a drag route, step back and hit him on a running back swing, or they even got Jamar chasing some swing routes. Like this is not complicated stuff. That last night, I'm just telling you, Jason, that was a high school spread offense. That's how high school quarterbacks throw it.
Yeah, Flacco didn't need to know an offense. That's get the ball out and get it to your playmakers all night long. And Steelers had zero answer. Now, he made the throws. There's no question he made the throws and he executed that. But that's a basic vanilla game plan that was executed by some very talented players.
Let me say this, and TJ, I would think you went into last night thinking the Steelers would win, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Paul, you went into last night thinking Pittsburgh would win, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Jason Whitlock went into the game thinking Cincinnati would win, put his money where his mouth was, but you guys know better than me. You two.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, if you want to talk about your record for the year, we can bring that up.
No. There's two different records. There's my Fearless 5, and there's when I put my money where my mouth is. And it's not that the Fearless 5 are fake, but again, I've lived long enough to know you find one or two games and that you really believe in, and you invest in that. But the guy that sat here and said, "Hey man, I'm just telling you, Flacco's better than what you guys think. He's still got an accurate arm. He's got the savvy, the confidence of a veteran that knows what he's doing." I felt pretty good about that game last night. And you all thought that there was, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that there was no possibility of that happening.
Jace,
but now that you've seen it, well, it was just a high school offense.
No.
Zach Taylor deserves all the credit, and Flacco had nothing to do with it.
If 12 was on the Bengals last night, what do you think would happen?
Excuse me?
If 12 was on the Bengals last night, Aaron Rodgers, if he was on the Bengals last night, what do you think he would have done? He'd have thrown for 342 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Is that what he did in New York? And I like Aaron Rodgers.
He didn't have March.
Who's ever done that in New York?
He had Garrett Wilson. He had, who I don't know. He didn't have it. Who was the coach last year? They had, Yeah, I can't even remember who the coach of the Jets was, but Saleh. Yeah, he had Robert Saleh. Anyway, I'm being a little bit obtuse. I'm being a little bit argumentative, but I think the audience probably knows who knows more about football in this group. And I don't even need to say it. It's factual. Hey, I'm going to move on, guys, because I'm tired of being. Well, actually, I'm not going to move on. I want to talk about the Cleveland reaction to what was seen last night. Paul, do you think? I think it's Tony Rizzo, that the radio show we were watching. Do you think he was being hyperbolic by connecting what he saw last night and being upset with the Cleveland Browns organization?
I think you can connect it to Stefanski, and you take Flacco's performance last night, put it on Cleveland. It doesn't replicate. It just doesn't. They don't have the weapons. They don't have the system. They don't have the culture. They don't have any of that.
That's not the question, though, Paul. That's not the question. They gave Flacco to a divisional opponent, and Mike Tomlin could see it, and I could see it. Hey, man, you give this guy some weapons. You give this guy some. He's a problem. Why would you do this in your division?
Yeah. It never happens, and I agree with that. It should have never happened. You want to trade him away and try to get your 5th-round pick because you blew it on Shedeur Sanders, fine, but send him someplace else. You don't send him in division. And to your arch rival, no less, who is
TJ,
now 3-4, 4-2.
You got any thoughts on this?
I'm not a huge Tomlin fan, to be honest with you. But I loved what he said. I like calling guys out by name. It's within your own division in the year that I bet Tomlin thinks exactly what you said earlier this year, Whitlock. In this division this year, if he doesn't win the division, I don't know that he's got a job.
You're right about
Lamar
that.
out and Joe Burrow out and the Browns being the 3rd, that's your division. And if you can't win it this year, you got problems. And now you've just been set back. Well, for one, the Steelers aren't that good this year. We've seen that. Their defense is an absolute liability.
And he knows
so, yes. And look, it's not like their offense is full of who's their second best receiver? You got DK, and you can't name anybody else on the team. It's why he's throwing to Pat Freiermuth down the middle for 68-yard touchdowns. It's a tight end who's not very fast. That is the team, and Tomlin knows it. And he thought, hey, I'm 4-1. I got a head start, and the 2 best players in the entire
division.
In the entire division. Thank you. Here are both out, and one's out for 3 months. And now I just blew one because you made a stupid decision of trading somebody for a 5th-round pick. It's not like you got a whole lot for him. A 5th-round pick, it's okay. Yes, it was foolish, and those guys should be called out by name because in the end, it may cost Mike Tomlin his job.
I agree.
Yeah, I think when I look at Pittsburgh's upcoming schedule, as I've already detailed, that this thing could burn up real quick, and Flacco may be able to do enough that the Bengals have a chance when Burrow comes back. And again, people in Baltimore are celebrating right now. Lamar's back on his way, and yes, they're, I think, 1-5, but it's not over. Someone's probably going to win that division at 9-8, and it may not be Pittsburgh. It could just as easily be Baltimore. If I had to guess, it'll probably be Baltimore. I really believe that even at 1-5, they may come back and win their division, and that likely will cost Tomlin his job.
Oh man, at this point, after last night, it's recency bias, but if it's not going to be the Steelers, I think it's the Bengals. I mean, that Baltimore defense has looked so bad this year. I don't know that they can stop anybody. And Lamar coming back from a hamstring, that's tough to do. And Derrick Henry's not looked like himself this year. So
he had 120
I don't know
some odd yards this past weekend, but I agree with you.
He's had 2 good games this year, opening weekend and last week. He had a bunch of sandwich in the middle where he was fumbling and doing nothing. And so, I get it. It's harder to have the game plan without Lamar, but Lamar coming off a hamstring and how bad that defense. So it's not like a pedestrian defense. That defense looks bad. So I don't know.
They
That's going to be a hard thing
playing well
to
with Lamar. We can't forget that. They were not playing well with Lamar. So to say that he's going to come back and everything's going to be okay, I don't know about that.
All right. I've gone long enough. I've gone more than I probably should have because this Belichick video that Pablo Torre has released is really, really fascinating. And I think people are reaching the wrong conclusions or just misconstruing. And so this is a long video. I'm going to play SOT number 3. I want to play it in full context. It's about 6 minutes worth of content, and then we'll come back and react to several different things here. But Pablo Torre has some behind-the-scenes footage of Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend, maybe now 25. I think, and this is the only thing I couldn't figure out, I don't think this is from this year. This seems a year old, if not 2 years old, or maybe it is from this year. I'm not sure, but let's play the clip.
For all of the episodes and conversations and posts and magazine covers about Jordon Hudson, it is worth pointing out that we've never actually really heard a lot of her talking.
Oh, boy.
But what Pablo Torre finds out has exclusively obtained for the first time, if you want to plug that thumb drive, Katie, into this computer.
It would be an honor.
What we have here is behind-the-scenes footage from the set of Coach at NFL Film Studios. There's Belichick, there's Patricia, there's Jordon Hudson. Is my voice cracking? And I think you'll get here a pretty decent sense of the dynamic at play.
Is it necessary to say keep them out of the end zone? Because I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory on defense. I don't know if there's like an additional point.
Yeah, it's a 100%.
100%. I feel like that applies to all defenses.
Well, no, but we just said that the Cowboys' offense is the best offense in the league. They have the most yards per game. So they're going to get the ball down there. Mm-hmm. We know they're going to get the ball down there. Preventing touchdowns and forcing the field goals is going to be a key to the game. Yep. I mean, we could say it differently.
Is that red zone specific, conceptually?
Well,
should that say red zone instead of end zone?
Well, there's explosive plays involved. It's okay. Yeah.
So you guys haven't reviewed these before this moment here?
Not the graphics.
Not the actual graphic itself, no.
I think she's taking a managerial role almost immediately, setting the stage for, I would say, a very detailed conversation between Jordon and Bill and a couple of producers on the show, talking at length about graphics.
This feels like a how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb situation.
Yes.
Editors at NFL Films did something and then turned it around to their guys and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, it's a lot of salary to pay for. If somebody puts on a clock, I could create this in 5 minutes. Will you give me $2,000 to do that?
The reason why this is a thing for the people on set was that she showed up and they didn't realize why she was doing anything.
I thought she was a producer on the show.
She runs his media company, but was his media company involved in this? Or is this him being paid?
And I think this exact question is where she has a very clear view of what her job was. And everyone else was like, I suddenly woke up one day and realized I'm working for Jordon Hudson.
You want to create editable templates that Matt can just plug numbers into?
Well, we'll get somebody else to do it.
We could use Adobe Photoshop, and honestly, this is something I've done before with what you're calling a template. Okay, so Adobe Photoshop, and we have last week's thing, and then you literally just go back and say, rather than Joe Montana, you just go click, 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 click on the delete button, and then type in a new name. It's already formatted. It's already this, and you just upload it. You take a screenshot of that screen and then just upload it, and it takes literally like 3 minutes to do it. I mean, I was able to build out his entire website with animations, with all of these things. I have zero real graphic experience, and he has a live website with all of these things on it. It was just a matter of pressing some things around. It's like, if we don't like that, we'll just
info. Yep, by all means.
So couldn't we it's pretty elementary. Do something.
Oh my, this is brutal. When she kept saying Adobe Photoshop, I was like, I think they know what that is. I think they know what that is. You don't have to keep calling it by its full name.
And she's like, I made his website with little or no.
Can we talk about the website for a second? The website seems to be a 3-across scroll of Bill Belichick GIFs from Giphy. In the browser, the tab.
Oh. Yeah. It says Bill Belichick, but with 2 Ks? .com.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think I would ask the webmaster. The thing that came across, as exemplified by this next clip, of Jordon Hudson leaning in and attempting to have a private conversation with her boyfriend / business partner / boss on tape is that they did enjoy shitting on other people.
Oh, that looks great. Oh, that's awesome.
Let's go back. To it. Okay. Thanks, Cody. Yep. All right.
We should have Tony built the set.
No kidding.
Thank you for helping solve this.
You should send him one of those texts, like even when I'm working, even when I'm with somebody else, I'm thinking of you. I was thinking of you the whole time. You want to something? We should get Tony in here.
You're very much.
He would make this place better than what it is, I'll tell you that.
On like a really serious note, on some of the things that we want to have mounted and whatnot. I mean, there's some things that fall through the cracks, but for the most part, everything is actually really well done. You don't have to give Tony every single little detail in order for him to figure it out.
That's right.
I don't know how they have 4 full-time graphics people.
I can't do
Right.
That's not really Joe's thing. That's what Matt and I were just talking about. It's not really Joe's thing. Like, could we teach him to do it? Yeah, but then he becomes a graphics guy, and we need somebody who did that for us, and we have to figure out who's available to do that. You know,
Who knows how to arrange the stats? Because I have a graphics person who helped me with the website.
We need a football person.
I think they're using all of the underdog people from the other things that don't know how to do anything else aside from what they do on all the other shows, which honestly, frankly, really isn't that good. The same thing that we ran, like the final thing for the Coach logo that we ended up with was like white letters and a black background. I was like, we're not doing that. Like, make it leather, like make it something.
Did she say make it leather?
The reason I'm showing it to you and to now everyone is not, man, let's cancel Jordon Hudson for her comments on graphics design and leather aesthetics. This is what the power dynamic is like around Bill Belichick. Like, what she is showing us inadvertently is, I am told, not dissimilar from what it's like at Carolina right now.
Paul, the look on your face might match the thoughts in my head. Because, you know what, I'm not going to tell you what I think. I want to hear, I don't want to change perhaps what anyone else thinks. Paul, what's your gut reaction to what we just saw?
It's so difficult to put it into words because I'm in disbelief because I had so much respect for that man. And this is a downward spiral that only maybe LeBron James can compete with. I do believe this is going on at North Carolina. I looked it up. It's September of 2024 that clip was from, so a little more than a year. But I believe that's probably what he's continuing to allow to happen. We've seen her on the field. We've seen her on the sidelines. I think she's in full control. I don't know what that man is thinking. I don't know if he was that hurt by the attention given to Brady. And TJ can speak a lot more to that than I can. But this is sad to watch her overtake basically his life. And I don't think that that's out of line for me to say because we're seeing it in real time. This is real. This is not AI. And it's sad. And some of the wording, as Katie said, you know, the way she's talking about Adobe and she's talking about the website and it's spelled wrong. I mean, I'm not a techie guy, but I'm a detailed guy and I can't spell the website name wrong. She does have 2 Ks in there. It's or her or whoever. And I'm guessing the guys sitting in that room know a whole heck of a lot more than she does. And I do. They look stunned. They're looking down. They're like, we don't even want to be here is what it looks like to me. And I just can't believe it. He's on my sign behind me. That's a $400 sign. I got to remove him or replace him. I got to put a hat over him or something because I'm embarrassed.
TJ, your thoughts?
I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not as bothered by their little chit chat at the end. I think that's what people do. Everybody's got their own opinions. I can do it better. You know, their graphics, okay. Like, you know, it's NFL Films, whatever. I actually don't care. That feels like what she thinks she can contribute. It's in her wheelhouse. I'm here. I'm the head of, you know, Belichick media relations. And so it's my job. What really bothered me was the start of that. Isn't it kind of redundant to say keep him out of the end zone? Like, what are we doing there? That's content now. That's a totally different thing. Belichick's like, 100%. Like, that's a yes. They got the number one offense with Dallas here, and he didn't say this exactly. He's like, but that's bend but don't break. Okay, holding the field goals, you can win the game. Keep them out of the offense. She's like, I don't know. Isn't that more of a red area thing? It's like, okay, what do you know about football? That's the stuff that bothers me. And so coming in and talking about graphics, I don't really care that much. But she seems to, and Belichick, for whatever reason, seems to entertain her talking about actual football content on NFL films when the show is called Coach and you're doing it with Matt Patricia and Mike Lombardi, some of the best coaches of the last 20 years. Patricia's had he's crushing it at Ohio State right now. So yeah, that bothers me. The rest of it, I actually don't care that much about.
So, I have more experience, I would think, than you and Paul with sugar babies. Let's just keep the whole. I got more experience than you.
I can confirm that. Yes.
Yes. And so, none of this conversation, none of this video, to me, is a bad look for Belichick. In my view, this is what I expected. This is what this looks and sounds like. And so what I felt, I felt uncomfortable, and I've watched this now 3 times today. I feel uncomfortable watching it. I feel like this is an incredible invasion of privacy. I feel like it's an indication that someone at NFL Films absolutely hates Bill Belichick and wants to embarrass him. And I feel like, is Belichick that bad of a person? It makes me question, like, what did Belichick do to someone in the NFL Films that they would leak this and want to embarrass him this way? Or is there someone at NFL Films that's just a terrible person and just wants to embarrass Belichick despite him having done nothing? Anybody that's listened to me on this show knows I don't approve of what Bill Belichick's doing. He's 73 years old. This is a 24, 25-year-old woman. If he wants to scratch his sugar baby itch, there are plenty of 40-year-old women out there that look really good that would love to be Bill Belichick's girlfriend, and that's what he should be doing. I find the entire Belichick Jordon Hudson thing gross. This is his grandchild, or could be his grandchild. So, this isn't me trying to defend Bill Belichick, but I actually believe he is the victim here. Point 2, she sounds no different than Mina Kimes, than Joy Taylor, than Katie Nolan. When they're sitting around a bunch of men talking sports and pretending like they can talk sports on that level. No different than any of them. And so Katie Nolan sitting there acting like that this woman's out of bounds and I can't believe she's talking this way. I was like, have you ever watched Katie, turn on Garbage Time? That was the name of her show on Fox Sports. Her show was called Garbage Time, and it appropriately named. And there were men behind the scenes. I'm not saying this to embarrass any of these men. I'm just speaking factually so that everybody understands. I'm not making this up, but Gabe Godwin, they programmed Katie Nolan what to say. And they did this and do this for not all, but many of the women in sports media, that there's someone in their ear, Katie Nolan's show used to come on once a week, and it was a 20, 30-minute show, and it would take her all week to prepare for it and for them to program her for it. She couldn't do live TV. She had a group of men trying to prop her up as a sports TV star as if she knew what she was talking about. She looked, sounded, and no different than Jordon Hudson. And won't put a name to it or names to it, but like if you take the Joy Taylor lawsuit, there's a bunch of women that were sleeping with, or a bunch, let's keep it real, a bunch of women that were sleeping with executives for jobs on TV. No different than Jordon Hudson. She's sleeping with Bill Belichick for her fame and all this other stuff. So I would just tell all the people, Katie Nolan, let's start there because she's on tape here like, oh my God, look at Jordon Hudson. She looks so stupid. And I can't believe she's saying, this is the same thing we thought watching you do Garbage Time and the other shows that you've been on. And so that is my take on it, that it's a violation of Bill Belichick's privacy that seems unfair. The behavior between Belichick and Jordon Hudson doesn't seem unusual, or even it seemed more normal than what I probably suspected. Anyway, that's my take. I'll let you guys react to that.
But I have a couple thoughts, Jason. The first one, I do agree that like it's always a violation of your privacy when there's leaked hot mic stuff. That's obvious. But it's also not the first time we've seen weird behavior. Remember the CBS interview where Jordon Hudson was coming in and she's like, nope, stop it. We're not talking about that. Like, it's weird behavior. You know,
What about her behavior here, though, was weird? That, what you're talking about, was weird. This here, just having had experience, that doesn't seem weird to me.
Well, it depends on, because remember, I think this is right around the time they went public with their relationship. And if you listen to Pablo Torre, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm making the assumption that he's correct, that these people at NFL Films didn't even know who she was or what she was doing. And suddenly she's coming there to tell them what to do. And they're like, who are you? What's going on here? And it turns out that it's Belichick's girlfriend who he's promoted to the Belichick media relations. So, I mean, that is weird. And you could see why.
Okay, let me ask you this. When the Dallas Mavericks named that black woman the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, has no experience in the sports world, knows nothing about basketball. This is commonplace in corporate America. Women showing up in male spaces where people, if their brains were rigged right, would be like, hey, what are you doing here? What's your job? And everybody just grits their teeth and says, hey, the company installed her, or look, some black dude, some gay person, some DEI hire. She's a DEI hire. And these people that are complaining, Pablo, Katie Nolan, they're DEI people. They believe in DEI.
Sure. And look, so I'm asking this not argumentatively, because I've not been in those rooms, but she doesn't work for NFL Films, right? So wouldn't it be weird for an outside person who just happens to be Belichick's lackey to come in and start kind of barking
She
orders?
works for Bill Belichick. And so, no, I don't think it's... I think it's inappropriate, but I don't think it's weird. This is the society that the left has created. And the left is now acting like, oh, this is crazy. There's a woman with a job she doesn't deserve in the sports world, and she got it because she's sleeping with a powerful man, and now everybody has to put up with her? Hello? When and I'm the bad guy because when Joy Taylor showed up, I was like, I don't want no parts of this. Not qualified. She's probably sleeping with somebody. And it's just trouble. And it won't be good for my show. I was the bad guy for that. And I'm still the bad guy for that. But this is the world that we've created. And to me, watching leftists laugh and mock Jordon Hudson when they've done the same thing. And again, if I really wanted to be, and I'm sure Katie Nolan meltdown and everybody how unfair I am to Katie Nolan, I'm just scratching the surface on what I could say. I'm being very nice. And Katie Nolan, I'm being very nice to. Joy Taylor, I'm being very nice to. A lot of these women, I'm being some of them I like. But I know the reality of, and it's not just the on-air people. There'll be executives showing, I'm not going to put a name on this, because they're not a public figure. But again, you have people show up that they're representing a media company, and they deal with, I forget the name of the job, but their job is basically to deal with the media. Media has questions. And you put a woman in that job, and she thinks her job is to make sure no one calls and complains. When I used to live in a time where you would put someone in that job because that person would say, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with people's complaints and I'm going to have to talk some sense into them. That's my job, to deal with the idiots that call in with complaints. Now you put a woman who's uncomfortable with conflict and she thinks her job is to stop people from calling in and complaining. And the way to do that is to control people like Jason Whitlock to make sure they say nothing that people will complain about. Women aren't good in conflict. And so every time you put them in these positions where there's going to be conflict, they actually shut down reality. That's how we move off into this fantasy world where you can sit there and say that some man is actually a woman.
You're making a different argument that I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
I said it's weird, not that Katie Nolan is not a hypocrite. Because that's the argument you turn to there.
Yeah.
All these women are doing it. They're all hypocrites. But to the general public who's seeing it for the first time, I mean, it is weird, right? And that's why the Joy Taylor thing was such a big story, because everybody found out about it. And they're like, oh, that's weird. I wouldn't have expected that. And people like you who, live behind the scenes. Yes. But it doesn't make it any less weird. Weird is a perception, right? Normal might be the reality, but nobody knows about that stuff. So when we look at this tape and we're like, well, that's weird. It's especially there's a 50-year difference between these two people, and she's coming in to tell him how to talk about football and what the graphics need to look like for a show that she doesn't work on. That's weird. Now your experience is different, but I don't think it makes it any less weird.
Paul, you got anything you want to add here? I know I've said a mouthful.
I agree with a ton of what you just said, and it's great perspective and point of view for sure. But simply from a football perspective, I just see this as indicative of a much larger problem there in terms of his decision making and what he has allowed to take place. The whole UNC and going there, even though he has a relationship with the AD, it's just problematic. All of the behavior, both by him and her, and there's the personal life, but he allowed it to bleed over onto the field and into UNC. And so that gives us the right, I think, to talk about it. And it just is something is way the heck off. And it's only going to get worse, not better. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it does get better. I think he's done at UNC at the end of this year. He could say whatever he wants. I think he's done.
Let me ask you all to respond to this. And this isn't me climbing up on some soapbox and thinking I'm better than anyone else. But I think if given this isn't a criticism of Pablo Torre. It's really not. It's wonderful what he's doing, the way he's rebranded and building a career. Hats off to Pablo. But if I were offered this tape, I probably would have said no. I'd have said, I'm good, man. I'm not going to play that. It seems like a violation. And again, I don't even like Belichick. He's totally burned up all the respect I had for him. But I would have not played this tape. And it's not because, like, I'm sitting there, oh, someone's got a tape of me doing the similar things. That's not it. I don't find this fair at all to Belichick or to Jordon Hudson. Your reaction, my decision to say I would not accept this. Am I crazy for that? Do you understand that? Do you think that would be foolish?
Intrusion of privacy all day long here going on, and it's here and it's prevalent in our society on the daily. And that part is we always got to watch, right? Someone's got a recorder, someone's got a camera, everyone's got a phone, and this is deep. And then the side conversation, those happen all the time, but not everybody's recording all the time. And now the whole world knows about it, and they have some answering to do, as if he doesn't have enough problems over at UNC.
You know, the guy who got busted for Spygate and these things, you'd think he'd be a little more careful around a hot mic. I mean, there is something there. Like when you got a microphone on and you're talking, I don't know. I mean, even I think about it. Like, just unplug the mic and have your conversation and then plug it back in. There is something to that. Now,
here's what Bill Belichick thinks, though, foolishly. That, hey, man, I'm such a big part of the NFL brand. There's no one at NFL Films that would want to harm me. I'm important to the Shield. And he's getting humbled, and he's effed around and found out. Continue, TJ.
That's exactly right. And so I would just say, for a guy who's 70-something years old and has been so secretive of everything. This actually very much goes against his brand. Okay, so you're unbelievably anal about how you giving any bit of information. This is a guy who I think at different times has gotten in trouble for not issuing the injury report correctly, right? Because he didn't want to give information. All right, so that's this guy who then turns around and has full trust in the NFL. That's probably true, but it is foolish. Different than what you asked, but I do think that's a part of it. Like, you should have just been smarter. As for, would it be foolish? Because that was the most interesting question you asked. Would it be foolish for you? Well, it depends on what you're looking to do. Pablo Torre is gaining popularity because of this. He's going to get a lot of views. His show that I've never watched before, I had no idea Katie Nolan was on that show. I now at least have that in my memory bank somewhere that it happened. So would it be foolish for your potential success? Yes. Would it be foolish for your own integrity and for journalistic integrity and who you set your reputation to be and the success that you're actually looking for? No, I think you would have made the right call. But I don't think very many people would make that call, to be honest with you. I think you're in the minority there. Not many people have journalistic integrity. They don't even have ethics to run it through anymore because they're not beholden to it's a podcast. Like, who are you running it through to make these decisions? Somebody gave it directly to Pablo and he threw it on air. Probably. Maybe there's more to it, but I doubt it.
Super open, quick open question here. Is the timing of this release, could it in any way have anything to do with UNC?
Could UNC be looking to embarrass and gain leverage over Bill Belichick? That's interesting.
Because of the embarrassment, and I said this about LeBron and what the Lakers are doing, they want him to cross the finish line under his own terms in a certain kind of way. They don't want to be the people that ended it. So whereas you have UNC, if this is all going bad, we all see it. The whole world sees it. He's not even competitive, and no one's going to go play for Bill Belichick. I mean, he doesn't even have that clout anymore. So is this a way for UNC to get this out there and say, see, look, behind the scenes, the problems are so bad, we have no choice but to move on?
There's some of that, and they also could be, Belichick may be finding out like, hey, man, all bets are off as it relates to me. They'll do anything. My critics will do anything. And this is where, and I'm on record, I don't like Belichick and what he's doing. But I understand it and I'm sympathetic towards it. I have the exact same weakness. Exact same weakness. Is there someone on one of my shoulders right now saying, man, you need you a Jordon Hudson? Absolutely. There's someone, God, above me saying, you better not, and I'm obeying. But the other thing that I can relate to is like that Belichick's getting his eyes open. I hate to go here, but I'm going to go here. The guy's the best coach we've seen in football, and he can't believe that everyone has turned on him. And there's Jason Whitlock. There was a time I was like, I'm the best sports writer of the last 30 years, and I can't believe everyone has turned on me, that people are running around denying my greatness as a sports writer and actively trying to destroy me. And I had to come to that realization, and I had to come to the realization, you better get right with God. And that's what Bill Belichick needs to do. And if he gets right with God, Jordon Hudson, at the very least, will end up way in the background, not front and center, running around the spotlight. If he gets right with God, Jordon Hudson will be off dating some 25 to 35-year-old guy, and Bill Belichick will be happy for her, and Bill Belichick will find him some 40 to 60-year-old woman to travel the country with and have fun and spend all his money, and they can, get on beaches and do all that stuff he's doing with Jordon Hudson. He can do that with someone a tiny bit more age appropriate. Guys, I got to let you go because I got to get to J.B., but thank you so much. Great job. We're going to take a short break, come back with Coach J.B. Next. Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round pick, is going to be used as justification for the media to call for Kevin Stefanski's job. And this is a two-time NFL Coach of the Year. I'm not saying the guy is, the next Belichick, but maybe he is. And because he won with Baker Mayfield, I think, in Baker Mayfield's third year. I think it was Kevin Stefanski's first year. And then he won with Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, and maybe Dorian Thompson, something or other. It's crazy. Kevin Stefanski, I think, is a good NFL coach, and a fifth-round pick is going to put his job in jeopardy. I don't blame the guy for disliking Sanders, because I think Andrew Berry or someone placed him there to be a problem for Kevin Stefanski.
What do I know?
All right, it's time for the Coach J.B. It's my favorite time of the week. J.B., I sent you some potential topics, but I'm going to start where I just left off because I know you probably got some take on Bill Belichick, the behind-the-scenes video that Pablo Torre released. Let's start where I just left off. Do you think it's fair, the release of this video? Is this fair to Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson?
Clicks and likes. That's the business we're in now. I think the world we're in now. So the problem is Pablo Torre is kind of turned into a snitch. If you were old school, if you were like from the street, we would say, hey, you're a snitch. What he did with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, now it's Bill Belichick. It seems like those two are his two big gets right now. Clicks and likes, like you said. He's making a name for himself in a new space now that he's off mainstream media. So I don't know if there's any like boundaries anymore. I don't think we can really judge anyone saying that this is off limits. I don't know if there is. I got some takes out there too that people, oh, you should delete it. I'm like, I'm not deleting it. That's just who I am. Same with you probably. You're probably like, no, that's who I am. We're not apologizing. This is who we are. And I think Pablo's showing you, like, I got to make a name for myself. Listen, it's appalling to me, the whole thing. And I've been on this since day one, a year and a half ago, because I got a daughter who's 28. It's sick. It's sick to see a guy that I idolize as a coach to date someone younger than my daughter. And he's almost twice as old as I'm 49. I mean, come on. Like, so I called it out when I saw it. It's sickening to see a guy you're telling me that 23, 24 years old is what you're going after. To me, there's a problem right there. So that's my first beef I have. So I guess it's not off limits. If I'm going to say that, then Pablo's a fair game too, to go do it. So that's where I'm at with it. I think it's sickening. But
what did you think of the interaction between Belichick and Jordon Hudson?
Yeah.
I didn't. Everyone's acting like it was crazy or that they look bad. I didn't think they looked that bad. I do think the relationship looks horrendous, but the interaction is shown here. What did you expect?
We just broke down that whole 6-minute video on our show to wrap it up with Sean King, former Super Bowl champ, and he was like, and he played under Lombardi as a GM. And he was going hard on him, Jason. Like, he's not holding back on that whole thing. He's like, this is an embarrassment. And he's kind of with Steve Kim. He's like, he thought before he couldn't ruin his legacy. And now he's like, he is ruining his legacy unbelievably. I don't know if you can, are they associated with each other? NFL, Super Bowls, and now college and his personal life. I don't know if you can tie those two together, because what he did is what he did. I don't know if you can say he's going to ruin anything. He still has he still got 8 Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as a DC, 6 as a head coach. So, I mean, the guy is in rare form, rare air. So I don't know if you can say he's going to ruin his legacy, but maybe as a man and as a legend or an icon to the other coaches coming up, maybe we'll look at him differently. I would see that. I can see that. But Sean King and a lot of us are looking at it like, I guess to answer your question, I got secondhand embarrassment watching that video. I tell you that. I got secondhand embarrassment because she's standing up, Jason. She's at the head of the table, standing up, telling these men what to do. That is crazy to me in a space where you coach longer than this girl's been alive. And now she's telling you what to do. And then misspells the name, and she's supposedly this person, but she can't even spell correctly. there's a problem, Jason, right there, in my opinion.
Her job requires no spelling, no talking of any sort. You got to listen to her ramble, and that's what Belichick. To me, the video isn't a bad look for Belichick or Jordan in terms of what actually happened. It's like, what did y'all expect? This dude's 73 with a 24-year-old. Of course she has leverage, and of course he allows her to do whatever he wants, and of course he pretends like she's some sort of expert on this or that. Again, he's got some sort of insecurity or mental defect in his personal life, and we just got to see, what that looks like, and so I'm. Here's where I agree with Sean King and the people that are saying he's hurting his legacy, because it's like, hey, no one denies O.J. Simpson was a beast, but what he did off field has now overshadowed him being a beast on the football field. And Belichick, this level of stupidity and being pee-whipped, he's about to be the face of being pee-whipped, about to be the face of sugar baby relationships, and that right now is going to overshadow his accomplishments on the football field.
It's undefeated, Jason. And that's what I don't think people realize. It's undefeated. And that's just it is what it is. Like the guy that is chasing the most wins ever that they've kept out of the league for whatever reason. They won't allow him to get those 16, 17 more victories to become the all-time winningest football coach in the history of the NFL, has succumbed to the undefeated thing, which is a female. Let's be honest. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. The youth of it is the issue I have as a father of a 28-year-old. I look at it like that's something I could never do at 7. I can't do it now. I don't date under 35 now, and I'm 49. I definitely couldn't see me going into no 20s at 49, a little less 70. So that's my personal issue. All the rest of the stuff, I'm not judging you off the field. That's you. Do you? I mean, the guy made $20 million a year as a head coach in the NFL. He makes 10 now. I mean, come on. He can probably sit back and laugh at all of us making judgments on him. But at the end of the day, I don't know if this can continue, because at the end of the day, you went from Mac Brown to Bill Belichick, Jason. Like, there's a huge issue right there in itself. And North Carolina's got to be reeling on the higher, I think.
Here's what Belichick might argue. And although I think there's a difference between the way people perceive Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. These are my favorite actors. And they're really old. And they got really young girlfriends. They got babies they're producing with it. And so if someone saw Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, they'd still be excited. Can I get your autograph? Hey, could I hang out with you? And so Belichick's saying, "Why? I'm just on a TV show or in the Hollywood industry as a football coach. Why can't you look at me the same way you look at these Hollywood actors that do the exact same thing?" I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, hangs out at high school proms, basically, to find his next girlfriend. And so this is what sports has become. It's a Hollywood show. And don't be surprised when these people act Hollywood.
I mean, look at Snoop Dogg today, and he sold his soul. I mean, like, we're seeing it from everybody. The Holly weirdos have done it since I was a kid, probably since you were a kid. It's not nothing to be shocked about, I don't think. I don't know why we're shocked today. I don't think we should be. But a football coach doing it, Jason, I think you look at it just a bit different, because that's kind of like, oh, man, that's our world. That's what we grew up in, trying to teach boys to be men in this space. And now we're doing the things that we used to tell our kids not to do is the problem that I have. Like, it's like, wait up. Are you sending your kid there if you're a father?
No.
Of a daughter?
If you're a mother, I wouldn't send it because I was a mother. Or
that's
no,
my
I
point.
wouldn't.
Like,
but
yeah.
But sports no longer teach traditional values.
No.
It's the pursuit of money and fame. And
no doubt,
men want the money and fame so that they can have what's undefeated in great abundance. It's men with no soul, no moral integrity, no connection to God, quite frankly.
Well, that's true. That's what it is. That's where we're at now. I don't know, Jason. It's kind of sick. I don't know. I get secondhand embarrassment is the terms that I'm going to use. That's what I get when I see her talking about anything that has to do with anything regarding football. Like, I don't bring up Harrison Butker, but dang, we're like, come on, man. Like, this is getting bad now. Like, this is like, I just don't think if we were to flip the narrative and I go on over into a woman's space and I start telling them how to do MAC makeup at the Macy's counter, I don't believe I'm going to be accepted very well. And I think they're going to be killing me in the media. So I don't understand the difference here. Like why we can't question her being in our space. I don't get it. And I don't understand why we're not talking about it more. I got a merch line right now called Save Women's Sports, Save Girls Sports. I had these girls on the show that kind of went at me and I'm like, why haven't I seen you? Why haven't I seen you have a shirt and go defend girls sports? I haven't seen you at all. And that's the ironic part of it. Like, you're not defending women's sports. You're mad at me because I'm calling out women for being in our space, but yet you are allowing guys to go play girls? Come on, man. That's ridiculous.
All right, let me move to last night's football game. You can settle a debate we were having earlier on the show. I was impressed with Joe Flacco last night tremendously. Tremendously impressed. TJ and Paul, not impressed, but not as impressed. And you know, think, hey, look, man, they ran a high school offense. It was very simplified. The passes he was completing weren't that difficult. Yeah, Joe Flacco had a great game, but you got to give Zach Taylor the most credit. And then I think they both believe Aaron Rodgers played a better game than Joe Flacco. To me, I'm thoroughly impressed with what Flacco did. Think he was the big star of last night. JB, you say what?
I'm gonna have to text TJ after this and tell him he must be on those meds. Here's the thing. First of all, you got a guy that's been there 9 days.
Yeah.
First of all, number one. Number two, 18 years in the league kind of told everybody this is what the NFL used to be. It was nostalgic last night watching these two old whites go at it. Because I'm going to be honest, our thumbnail said the two old whites make football fun again because that's what it looked like. Again, proving my point over the last 5 years that the pocket passer still reigns supreme, always will, and your greatness dictates how good your O-line play is. He stayed unscathed last night. He got sacked at the end of the game, and he got the ball out, and his O-line looked as good as you've seen a Cincinnati Bengal O-line look since Burrow's year to the Super Bowl, which wasn't very good at all. And by the way, he made that happen because he knows where to go with the ball. He knows who's hot, who's not, and he knows who he has on the perimeter, which he has not ever had in his career, ever, in 18 years. He goes into that organization 249 miles due south of Cleveland and says, listen, I got two of the best wideouts in football. I know what I have, but I know football. So last night, I'm going to give you some Mina Kimes stats. 79% of the football game was played in man coverage on defense by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Ramsey getting older, but still supposedly was good because we made a move to get him because we needed to secure the back row in Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin made sure he wanted to address it. You got a $179 million defensive roster. The reason you play man, Jason, is because I got a pass rush. I can get a pass rush, and my secondary only has to cover you for 2.5 seconds, hopefully. Jalen Ramsey was in coverage for 5 seconds a snap last night, and Jamar Chase made him look old, made him look inept, and I'm just going to tell you, guess who knew it? Flacco. And anytime I know I got man free across the board and I'm sitting there, if you notice, he wasn't even sweating every time he came off the football field. Go look at your favorite quarterbacks out there, audience listening. Go watch Kyler Murray and all your favorite quarterbacks who come off the field like this, puffing and huffing and puffing, sweating profusely because they're running around back there, Jason, because they don't have a clue where to go with the football. Joe Flacco sitting back there like, man free, boom, 23 targets. 23 targets. Joe Burrow didn't even get 23 targets to Jamar Chase. He got 16 catches. And if Jamar catches 2 other balls, he breaks an NFL record with 18 catches. But he broke the Cincinnati Bengal record, and this guy's been there 9 days. So why, if it's Zach Taylor only credit, why didn't Browning do such a great job? Come on, man. This guy knows football. He comes in there at 40 years old, and it's 7-on-7 to him. Look at him off the football field when he comes off the field. No facial expression. He doesn't want to give it away, Jason, because he's like, you kidding me? You're playing me man with these 2 wideouts all game. And I know where to go with the football. Back shoulder, Jamar Chase. Boom, first down. Crosser, Jamar Chase. Boom, first down. Because it's all man across the board. He knows it. He said it after the show, after the game, Jason. Hey, guess what? Half the stuff coming in my earphone, I had no idea what it was. And you know what? He didn't have to. And I led my show off today saying that. He didn't have to know the offense. I know the coverage. I know the front. I know who I have on the perimeter. He went to Bill Costas or whatever, the other wide receiver, one time. Guess what? Don't overcomplicate this thing. I got Higgins and I got Jamar Chase, and guess what? 40 attempts went to those 2. And it was evident that he knew who he wanted to get the ball, exposed the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's $179 million overpaid. And now you look like, you just got exposed by Cincinnati Bengals, and they made me make a run. They got the Jets, the Dolphins, and the dang Browns next 3 games. Cincinnati Bengals winning those 3 games. They're going to be in the mix here with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the North. And do you bring Burrow back is my question to you. Do you bring him back if he's healthy enough? Because I don't think you do.
Yes. You know why? Because I think Flacco at 40, not just the money, but obviously the money, but not just the money. Flacco at 40, and he's won a Super Bowl. He would have proven his point. Flacco's going to pour all of his knowledge into Joe Burrow and help Joe Burrow prepare and do. Joe Burrow can do what Flacco did last night, but, he can do it at age 26 or whatever Joe Burrow is. And, Joe Burrow is as accurate. I don't know if his arm is as strong, but I think Flacco's going to be a tremendous asset. Burrow's sitting there watching this last night and it's like, oh, wow, Joe's really simplified this thing. And you know what? I can be this simple and I can get the ball out this quick.
It's a double-edged sword here, and there is an issue. Belichick, who we're talking about, had to deal with this with Bledsoe and Brady. When Bledsoe got hurt, Brady comes in, becomes who he is, and then Brady gets hurt, and Bledsoe comes in that playoff game, I think against the Steelers, wins the game, and then the Super Bowl's coming up, and Belichick has to make a decision. Do I go back to Brady and keep him, or do I go back to Bledsoe, who won us the playoff game last week, who was replaced? I think this is a situation because if the Bengals go on a run, and you're in playoff contention and Flacco's on a heater and Jamar Chase is breaking NFL records, which he's probably going to end up doing with Flacco. Do you go back? And that's the question. Do you stop the momentum? Number one. Number two, if you're not winning, why would you bring a guy back who's been injured more than he's played? And he's a 26-year-old guy who we keep putting in harm's risk way on a team that's not very good. If it ends up being if it goes that way. So I don't know if you don't just ride this out for this year and address the O-line, address the defense in the offseason, and get Burrow fully healthy. I just don't. I think you got a very, very real managerial situation here that's going to be addressed, and it's got to be very, very cautiously addressed because you rush this guy back and he gets hurt. Now what do you got? You're not bringing Flacco back, Jason. You're not bringing him back next year. So the guy's probably likely to retire. Let's just be honest. It's going to be very interesting. I'm impartial either way, but I don't know if you can win with the decision you make bringing Burrow back. I don't know if it's a win-win scenario. I think it's a win-lose scenario. And you may just want to rock with the 40-year-old who's going to break records with Jamar Chase and Higgins.
JB, I'm going to move on to a different topic. Do you have a take? When I say Pro Football Focus, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Analytics. Florio, I don't know. It's like analytics, Mina Kimes, a joke, a mockery. I don't know. All those things.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me tell you why I love Pro Football Focus, and it's Chris Collinsworth's invention, and NBC leans into it, and everybody's hot. J.J. Watt's gone off on it. Chris Long's gone off on it. Everybody's hot with Pro Football Focus. What other tool of accountability does the media have and do fans have with football players right now? We have no other tool to hold them accountable. No other tool to put pressure on them to play at a high level all the time. That grade, whether it's right or wrong, but no one wants to be listed on Sunday Night Football as the 95th best defensive tackle according to PFF grades out of 102 defensive tackles. No one wants to be listed as the 40th best tight end or blah, blah, blah. It's the only thing holding these players accountable. I love Pro Football Focus. I know it's not perfect, but when I see these guys get hyperbolic because someone is putting a grade on them and they disagree with their grade. Hey, look, was it junior year or senior year, but I can't remember. 1988. The coaches had so little respect for me or respect for my ability to work hard every day that my grades after games, they would always, if I graded out at 82%, they'd give me a grade of 75%. If I graded out at 75, they'd give me a grade of 69. If I would come in having played, like I gave up nothing, and my grade would be 73. And I was irate about it. As an adult, I was like, oh, I get why they did that. Because if they had given me my real grade, I would have gotten full of myself and more lazy. And they were already dealing with a laziness issue with me, and so they were putting pressure on me. That's what Pro Football Focus does. It's the only thing that holds these guaranteed contracted multi-millionaire football players. And I know not all the contract is guaranteed, but enough of it is that they feel like it's guaranteed. I love PFF.
Yeah, I don't know. Why is that needed? These guys are 1%ers. They made it. I think it's watered down the previous generation of player. You and I had Street and Smith magazine. That's all we had. We got to be in there if we were good enough, and it was a national magazine. It was high school football. We got to watch Street and Smith and like, oh, he's the next guy. Jason Whitlock's coming up. He's going to Ball State. It talked about that. That was all we had. We didn't have internet. We didn't have none of that stuff. Nowadays, we look at this stuff and we're comparing Caleb Williams with Troy Aikman as if our eyes don't work. And you know what they use? PFF. And now there are people out here saying Caleb Williams is the best over Troy Aikman because Troy Aikman critiqued his inaccuracies the other day. Come on, man. That's the problem I have with PFF. We've watered down the generational talents that we've watched and my eyes saw, and I know the position. And I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? This is John Madden video game stuff. This is the analytics that have ruined the game to me. That's why I'm in disagreement of this. This is the Mina Kimes stuff. Like, come on. Get on the board and show me cover 2, Mina. She won't. She can't. She'll never will do it because they won't put her in harm's way because she's ignorant. And ignorance is life-threatening, just as PFF is. To me, I think it's ruined we live in a YouTube generation. These young generational kids now see the games live, but then they go back and watch the Troy Aikmans and the Dan Marinos on only YouTube clips. And then they're going to say, oh, he wasn't that good. He had no idea that the rules were different, that everything has been totally addressed for offense, and yet offense is the worst we've ever seen it. I got a problem with PFF for that reason alone, and I think we've made this thing so analytical. Kick the dang extra point, Jason. Kick the field goal. Take the points. We become so analytical now that it's ridiculous. And it's same thing with these rankings. I don't know. They're already 1%ers. I don't know why we think we need to put them in some specific role or place. Wait till the top 50 come out of all time and they have some guy like Caleb Williams ranked over Troy Aikman. Then you're going to see me go viral because this is ridiculous.
I want to play Chris Collinsworth responding to his critics or the critics of PFF. Let's play SOT number 10.
Sort of ironic that we've had other coaches that have complained much louder to me about this, right? And those guys would call me and I would say, Coach, come on in, meet my guys, look at our system, pick it apart, do anything you want. Just take a look at the whole thing. Of those coaches, one of them asked for and did buy into our company. One of them asked to buy into the company and said he couldn't afford it. And another one endorsed cutting a player based on PFF grades with the team that he was with. So a lot of people have their own opinions. You know, we grade things, we evaluate things. You know, Bijan Robinson has a couple of fumbles and, you know, that's hurt his grade, and he's arguably been the best back in all of football this year. So there's always a complaint, but, you know, we've spent literally tens of millions of dollars trying to perfect this system. Every NFL team, every college team, every Canadian Football League team has it. We're building the same thing for soccer right now around the world. Everybody uses it. Every announcer, almost, other than a couple, you know, JJ, come on over. We'll open the doors. We'll give you anything you want for your announcing. But yeah, I think it's easy to criticize if you haven't seen how the potato chips are made. But open invitation to all those guys. Anybody that wants to come in and take a look, debate, argue, sit down, pound the table. We've had a lot of people do it in the past, and we'll have a lot of people that'll do it in the future, but we invite everybody.
So a big thank you from Chris Collinsworth.
JB, I think Chris Collinsworth nails it here, man. People are huffing and puffing because they don't want to be held accountable, and we need some tool to hold these guys accountable.
Why?
So that they're forced to compete. So they don't lay down like Chris Jones on the goal line and watch Trevor Lawrence get up off the ground and run for a touchdown. We need something that you know puts a little pressure on the players.
That's a organizational issue. If I can, that's a salary cap issue. That's an NFL issue. That's a don't pay me, fine me issue. How about we fine them? That'll fix the problem. I don't know if I need a stat line to tell me
NFL
to play hard.
Players Association wouldn't allow you to fine them.
See, that's the problem. The organization should have, because at the end of the day, we're going to use analytics to tell me if I
it's not
pursue the football.
It's
well, what is it? The grading system. Who's the grader?
Former coaches are involved with PFF and grade the film. Are they perfect? No. Are they closer to the truth than just spitballing it? Yes, I think they are.
But I need to know who's grading them. That's huge. See, we got Condoleezza Rice tells me that Alabama should be in the college football playoff. It's a mockery. I got to hear these people that have no clue on the playoff.
Do you think that's who's grading the players at PFF?
No, but why is it such a secret? Because I did a little deep dive. You can't find the graders, though. If it's a secret, why these guys? That's the reason these guys are being more calling people out more. Show us, Chris. Who's grading us?
I'll tell you why it's a secret.
Is it Belichick? Is it
former coaches that are afraid that, hey, if they know that I'm doing it, I'll never be considered for another coaching job?
How do you sell that product then? Because I that's why the players are against it, and I am as well. I don't, as a former coach and player, how do you sell it if I don't know who's doing it? Because the college football playoff committee is a joke. There's out of the people on there, only one former player is selecting teams to go to the college football playoff. It's a fact. Go look it up. One player.
This isn't about the playoffs, though, JB.
No, but it's the same thing, though. If I don't know who's grading it, if Mina Kimes is grading J.J. Watt's overall ranking, are you going to question it? Come on. Well, who is, though? You saying she ain't, but we don't know who is.
Former coaches. Wasn't it Gunther Cunningham? There was a defensive coordinator. I know at one point he was working for PFF. He's got a lot of experience in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. I played for Gunther. I'm trying to figure out who is it and why is it such a secret, though? If they're not coaching no more, who cares? Why don't they come out and say it? If Dick Vermeil came out and said, I've been grading them, I respect it.
Let me tell you why. Let me give you another real reason why, JB. The PFF is growing and growing in importance and influence. Chris Collinsworth just showed you that. There's millions of dollars on the line. And PFF is going to help organizations determine who gets this contract or that contract. And if you think some of these players aren't desperate enough, they're damn near like rappers. And if you think they're not desperate enough to try to put hands on somebody for giving them a grade that they feel like they don't deserve and making it public, yes, they are. If they've made it up in their mind, hey, man, this is how I feed my family. And you know, this guy gave me a C+ grade or a C- grade or a 70 whatever grade, and I felt like I deserved an 82, and that's why I didn't get the contract I wanted from Jerry Jones or Bob Kraft or whomever. They're going to try to put hands on one of these old coaches or whoever's doing it, and they're keeping it a secret so that these guys can give an honest opinion. And it's going to get so important, like, if everybody knew who was doing the grades, if you think some of these players and agents aren't willing, I got $100,000 for you if you take care of me this year. They're capable of doing that.
You know what we're doing? We're watering down the hires inside of each organization. If you want to really macro level break this down, why am I hiring a president of a university, Jason, at Ball State? Let's do this. Just use this in reference. I'm a president, I have a doctorate degree, correct? If I'm a president, I have to have a doctorate degree. I hire the athletic director who hires the head football coach, correct? That's how the pecking order usually goes.
Yes.
It's not that way, though. You know what happens? The president hires a search firm that's has no relation whatsoever with that campus, those kids, or the city itself. They hire a coach through an agent that they're cool with. The same thing goes in this PFF situation. Why am I hiring Jason Whitlock to be the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs if I'm using a guy on the outside's grading system to make sure I keep, cut, or draft somebody? Why are we hiring those people then? Hire the people that are going to do the job for your organization. Why are we depending on analytics? No, we're not. We're using outside sources to tell me who to cut or not.
No, they're not. Listen, the Chiefs have their grades on their players, and PFF has its grades on the players.
Right.
And I'm sure Brett Veach and Andy Reid sometimes disagree with PFF, and I'm sure there's sometimes they're like, man, they nailed this guy.
Yeah, but you're not drafting based on PFF, is my point. And if you are, then you're doing a disservice. You shouldn't be hired then. That's my point. Like, why are we being paid then if I got to go on the outside? Then I should be hiring a PFF guy for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And they might get some of the guys from PFF. But we don't have.
There's 32 of these jobs, Jason. 32 of them. Like, you're telling me now I'm going to PFF outside. So then we don't need to have upper management and admin then. Like, I got to go PFF. Then PFF runs the show now. They're telling me they're the judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to football breakdown, knowledge, and basically personnel. Because they're great at personnel judgment out of college? No. Can't tell me that's true. These coaches, that if they are guys that are don't want to be seen, you just said Gunther Cunningham. What's Gunner, 80? He knows what's going on in college?
I'm saying a few years ago, yes, I don't think you lose it all. I don't think you forget everything you learned about football overnight. Yeah, I'm sure there's some qualified guys. I'm sure it's just like any business. There's some qualified guys and there's some unqualified guys. But overall, I think PFF does great work. And it's JB, this is like a big part of my brand and belief is like fans have no way of holding any of the athletes, any of the organizations accountable now. And we used to be able to. Showing up to games used to matter. Now with these TV contracts, it doesn't even matter if you show up to games. It doesn't matter.
Corporate. It's corporate America's taking over.
Yeah.
That's why a flag football game, the Pro Bowl, gets sold out still no matter what, because corporate buys the seats.
Yes.
So
and in the media, the biggest stars in TV have the same representation, the exact same agents or agencies as the players. And so the people on mainstream TV are far less likely to say what they really think about a player's performance. And so PFF stands in the gap and takes care of it. When I was in Kansas City, anybody from Kansas City that's watching this show knows exactly what I'm going to say. I used to do a Chiefs season-ending grade, and it wasn't nearly as good as PFF. It was more entertaining. It was funnier, and because I would crack jokes, but I would grade every player on the Chiefs roster, and the players would be irate. Some would be happy, but the players would be irate and be threatening to kill me, or telling me I did a great job. Tony, I'm not saying this as a brag, but Tony Gonzalez at his Hall of Fame speech thanked me. It was like something that ran underneath the screen while he was giving his deal, where he had him put on there that he thanked me because I gave him a bad grade after his rookie season. I gave him a D+, and he said it changed his whole career. And made him like, oh, I'm going to show Whitlock and blah, blah. Ain't nobody ever going to say this about me again. It's that type of accountability that used to bring out the best in players, and there's none of that anymore, JB, and we need some of it. And so maybe that's why I'm so sympathetic to PFF, but my whole deal, and again, you need to hop on board. We need to be lockstep, you and me, in what we're doing. Is like the fans need a voice. Because at the end of the day, me and you, I used to play a little bit, you used to play a little bit, you used to coach, but now we're just sports fans. And somebody's got to represent us and our perspective. And PFF gives the fans a tool to understand the game and hold the players accountable. I'm telling you, JB, this is a good thing.
The fans are nobodies. And they should just shut the heck up and stay out of our lane. That's what they need to do. Because the bottom line is, this is what happens. These
JB,
players
do you
aren't
know who
invested.
you are? You're a sports fan, JB.
Hey, Jason, these players are not even close. This is why PFF will end up failing, and you'll never hear from it again in 10 years. You know why?
Stop it, JB. Didn't you just hear the man? They're bringing it to soccer. They're bringing it to Canadian football.
And that's,
it's going everywhere.
You know why it's going to soccer? Because soccer is the most world-watched sport, and that's why. Because why? Because football, eventually, feminization and everything else that's happening, flag football and women coaching and all this stuff, it's going to end up falling on their face, and they'll never have football anymore. Here's the problem. The investment of these players are not what it was when you and I played. That's why PFF will not sustain itself. Because when the player's not invested, and I go recruit a kid who doesn't even know who the hell Eric Dickerson was at his own position, there's an investment issue. So if you're going to tell me that these grades matter to these people like Tony Gonzalez was with you, you're crazy. You're delusional. I'm just telling you, players don't care no more, Jason. They're betting on themselves to get a DraftKings check. They don't care no more about their grades.
Play
they can care less.
9. Play SOT number 9. Hold on. No one cares, huh? And I know Chris Long's out of the league, but play SOT 9.
Get Mahomes quarterback 13 of 32 off my television screen. We're talking about legislation, what our kids shouldn't see at school, what they shouldn't be learning about. Like, should we have political ads on television? I want the PFF scores off the TV as bad as I want political ads off the television because, like, God forbid there's somebody watching the game who doesn't know who Patrick Mahomes is.
Right.
They're going to be badly misguided, brother. 13th best quarterback in the league. I mean, if I was Nandi, and maybe he earned it this year, but I would sue. I'd be in Chris Collinsworth's backyard, dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'd be at the window.
Right.
Like, what? You can't do that, dude.
You sure they don't care?
Chris Long does. He's not playing. My point is, Jason, these guys don't care. They got 200 million reasons why to go to Dubai in the offseason and why they don't look like we once used to look on the football field. Have you noticed the body types, Jason? Have you seen the wide receivers that used to look like Megatron now looking like Devontae Smith? Have you not noticed they could care less about your rankings, your Madden rankings, or anything else? We care. You, me, Chris Long, and the old school heads that you say, oh, man, you're crazy. These guys don't care is my point. And that's why PFF cannot sustain itself when the investment of the product on the football field doesn't care. There's no way you're going to sit here and tell me, how long is Chris Long, you and I going to be talking about this? 10 more years, maybe? 15, 20? Okay, for some of these guys, the players don't care. It's only getting worse, Jason. You got guys getting 8 years in college. You think they care? They're getting a bag of money. They don't care. This PFF thing's going to be a joke and a mockery in about 6 years. Watch. Mark my words. I'm going to be. But what do I know, Jason? Just like I've been right the last 5 years about this other crap.
JB, I'm letting you go. You wore me out. Great job as always. Go ahead.
Stop betting on college football. Stop betting on college football. I told you it's impossible. You can't grade. You cannot bet on these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids no more because they're in a jersey swap era. They don't care no more about their team. They worried about changing jersey after the game. They worried about their homeboys on the other team more than they are on their own team. I stopped betting college, and I told you Colorado was going to cover those three. They ended up winning the game. You can't bet on these kids no more. They don't care.
Well, I tend to agree with you, and that's one of the reasons I let you go, because I got to do my Fearless 5 picks for this week. JB, great job as always. Fantastic job as always. But I got to do the Fearless 5. Do we need to take a break, or can I go straight to it, Luke? Give me 1 second. Let's go to a break then. Oh, no, do not come. Just give me 1 second. I'll get to my Fearless 5 picks. 2-3 again last week. 13-17 for the year. I can't get these college football games right. That's where I agree with JB. I'm better at the NFL games, but I'm ready for the Fearless 5. If we are we ready? All right, let's play the intro to the Fearless 5. All right, let's get right to it. I'm hopping on the Patriots. I'm totally buying into Mike Vrabel. I'm totally buying into Drake May. The Patriots minus 6.5 at the Titans. Mike Vrabel coming home to Tennessee, to Nashville. I think he's going to kick the living crap out of the Titans. They'll win by 17. Pats have won 3 straight games and 3 straight road games. Patriots minus 6.5 at the Titans. Next, the Giants. Jackson Dart. I don't like him. I don't like his gold chains or his platinum chains or whatever he's wearing around his neck, but I do like him in this game. 7.5 points is just too many points for the Denver Broncos. Denver's offense has been struggling, isn't scoring a lot of points. I like Jackson Dart here. He's 2-1 in his 3 starts with 6 total touchdowns. Running back Cam Scatterbo is averaging 101 scrimmage yards in his last 3 games. I like the Giants to cover. Broncos will win a close game. They will not blow out the Giants. Let's move to number 3. Next, the 49ers minus 2.5 hosting the Falcons. Falcons, to me, fluke game last week, winning. I think they'll be too celebratory. I think the 49ers traveling to San Francisco, the 49ers hosting this game, they're going to cover the 2.5. This game features 2 of the best running backs in the NFL, Bijan Robinson and Christian McCaffrey. I like McCaffrey to come out on top here. 49ers minus 2.5 at the Falcons. Next. Perfect. We're sticking with the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks, minus 3.5, hosting the Texans on Monday Night Football. I love what Seattle's doing. I mean, I really respect what Seattle's doing. Not a Super Bowl team, but this is a very good team that has played well on the road. Now they got a home game against a very overvalued Texans team. I think Seattle's averaging a league best 6.3 yards per play. The Texans defense leads the NFL in scoring defense. The Seahawks rank 6. This is going to be a defensive battle. I think the Seahawks win by 5 points here. And finally, let's move to my college pick for this weekend. Colorado's not playing, so I can't pick against them. I like the Northwestern Wildcats, -2.5, hosting Purdue. The Wildcats defense ranks 23rd nationally in yards per game and 24th in points per game. Purdue has had a Power 5 conference worst, -10 turnover margin. The Wildcats beat Purdue by a field goal or more. That's your Fearless 5 for this week. Thank you. You see my record for the season. This feels like a 5-0 week for me. Doesn't it feel like 5-0 to you? It feels like 5-0 to me. I'm already hot. I had the Bengals on the money line last night. So those are your Fearless 5. Thank you for playing. We got a special ending to today's episode of Fearless. And I know I've kept you guys a long time, but Jeffrey Steele and I had like a 45-minute discussion about what's going on with Zach Bryan, the country music star that has kind of gone woke and pissed off his fan base. Zach Bryan, one of the biggest stars in country music, just played in Ann Arbor, Michigan in front of a record 112,000 people. He's got some song called Bad News that's going to come out, and he released the first verse of the song, and it's triggered a bunch of people. Jeffrey Steele and I talked about it on BYOG. I just want to play you an excerpt of that conversation. Normally, BYOG is bring your own guitar. We bring in other country music artists to play a little music, have a conversation with us. But this was just me and Jeffrey talking about what's going on with Zach Bryan. I want to play about 10 minutes of that, and then we'll direct you on how to watch the full episode of BYOG. Enjoy your weekend. Friday's here. Here's a little special bonus, Fearless/BYOG. Let's play the clip.
Bring your own guitar, old buddy. Bring your old guitar. We'll talk and drink and laugh and sing, but bring your own guitar.
All right, welcome to BYOG. Jason Whitlock, Jeffrey Steele. And it's just going to be me and Jeffrey today because we got a big topic to talk about, Jeff.
Yeah. No guitars today.
Yeah, no guitars. No one brought their guitars. We just brought our thoughts, our thinking caps, and, no fear. We're going to attack this head on. The Zach Bryan controversy. Zach Bryan, one of the best country music artists working in America today. I love him. Son to me is one of my favorite shows. But he's lost me here with this Bad News deal. He's trolling. This is intentional. How you put this song out or a snippet of the song that you know is triggering, and then let the controversy happen, and then you say, well, you haven't heard the full song.
See where it lands. Yeah.
You haven't heard the full song. Yeah. So let's just start from a foundational position for the audience, for everybody. I'm going to read the lyrics that have everyone triggered. Let's just start there. Didn't wake up dead or in jail. Some out-of-town boy's been giving us hell. I got some bad news. I woke up missing you. My friends are all degenerates, but they're all I've got. The generational story of dropping the plot. I heard the cops came. Cocky motherfuckers, ain't they? And ICE is gonna come bust down your door. Try to build a house. No one builds no more. But I got a telephone. Kids are all scared and all alone. The bar stopped bumping. The rock stopped rolling. The middle finger's rising and it won't stop showing. Got some bad news. The fading of the red, white, and blue. I don't like that start to finish, pretty much. and
I think, I don't know Zach, but I think his writing style is kind of stream of consciousness, where he just kind of spurts out thoughts, because he has a lot of random, unconnected thoughts that end up connected in the end. But that I mean, just the final line of that song to me is the controversy to me. That's the one that really rubs me the wrong way, and it's a statement. It's a statement. Whether it's just him or you could look at the whole bigger picture, but it's a statement of where we're at right now.
Yeah, this is. I mean, people aren't really focusing on the end. The ending is kind of what triggered me.
Yeah.
Not that the rest of it, again, because I'm telling you, I didn't like this pretty much start to finish. Once you're calling the cops cocky MFs. It was like, whoa. Yeah. He's definitely trying to say something, do something, trigger something here. Then he starts going off on ICE. ICE is going to come bust down your door, try to build a house no one builds no more. It's like he's triggering everybody, and this is like the antithesis of Aaron Lewis or Jason Aldean.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're going to see how people, if these younger kids are bought into it and they believe this, they believe it's the fading of the red, white, and blue. They believe that the cops are motherfuckers. Then we're here. You know what I mean? But I don't think we are. We'll soon find out.
Now, you got more experience at this than me, obviously. Is this a calculated move?
That's
by
what
him?
it feels like it to me.
It doesn't feel organic to me.
Feels
someone put a battery in his back.
Yeah,
and
because I don't think a publicist would recommend it, and if that, you know what I mean. Like, but it's something you might do on your own. And he didn't really release the song.
No.
So that's another red flag to me. And I sent you some stuff about Aaron Lewis on his release, just to make the point that when he put that song out, he literally got his head cut off by everybody in the industry.
Aaron Lewis, you're talking about.
The year, and it was right in the middle of COVID, right in the middle of statues falling and all the stuff going on. He pointed out the thing about Springsteen in the lyric, which everybody's like, what is he talking about? Bruce Springsteen, he is the man. He is America. And then we saw a year later, Bruce is selling Jeeps and walking with Biden and standing up. He's walking with the man instead of singing songs about the man, which is what his whole career has been. So this is kind of weak to me. We're going to have to wait to obviously see what happens. If he puts it out, is he going to put it out? Will he make an official release, a single, a video? Jason Aldean put it, Jason put it out and said, here it is. And what did the country do?
They love Jason Aldean.
F yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
and let me ask you this, too, and I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Try that at small town. It's a true statement, right?
Yes.
You try that at small town, you're not getting out alive. You're gonna get taken down. If you try something like that in a small town, which, the stuff that's represented in that song, you're not getting out of that town. No, none of this stuff happens in small towns.
They test everything. Someone has decided that this is the time to draw a line in the sand.
I agree with you.
And so you've got
100%.
Zach Bryan, 8 years of military service.
Yes.
His family, mother and father, served in the Navy as well.
Yes.
Someone has said, this is the guy, and he's super talented. I mean, he just had 112,000 people. This is a real test of the public. And I think they're saying, no, the Dixie Chicks days are done. We can do this now. They're saying the music is so good. This guy, he's the perfect guy. He's not, and I mean this is no slight, because I love Jelly Roll's music. But again, if Jelly Roll did this, he doesn't have 8 years of service in the Navy.
It doesn't look the same.
Yeah, it doesn't come across.
So do you think it's more calculated that way? That
Yeah, this guy was chosen, and the music system and all these systems feel so rigged to me and so inorganic that they've told him that you can do this and you're actually going to make more money on the other side. Let's continue with Zach Bryan's postings on Instagram. Left wing or right wing, we're all one bird and American. To be clear, I'm neither of these radical sides. To all those disappointed in me on either side of whatever you believe in, just know I'm trying my best too, and we all say things that are misconstrued sometimes. Everyone have a great day. I love each and every one of y'all.
See, when I hear that, it all means nothing to me. Like, I want to hear that. I want to hear him say, I freaking think that ice sucks. I want to, you know what I mean? Back that up. I don't want to hear you say, oops. I don't want to hear oops. I'm sorry, you know?
Last one, just so we give Zach a full
airing. If I was in the room, I said, we're going to do this. Like I told Aaron, are we doing it? We're doing it. High five. We believe this. We're doing it.
Well,
let's go. Like, because you stumble onto a thought. You get to a thought in the thought process, and you go, wow, that's a heavy thought. Do we say it? People are going to be pissed, if we say it.
Here's the thing, though. Aaron and yourself knew, like, hey, man, this is what our audience wants to hear. It's whether or not we got the balls to put it out there.
Yeah.
Zach is saying, I just performed in front of 112,000 people at Michigan Stadium, and I would bet 90,000 of these people don't want to hear this, and they don't want to deal with having to defend this. And so he's going upstream.
Absolutely.
He's making himself a pariah with his own fan base.
Yeah.
Aaron's making himself a pariah with the industry, and he's good with that because he's built a business that doesn't rely on the industry.
Right.
And Zach Bryan is now going to be supported by the industry and probably face a divided, hostile fan base.
Which is also Springsteen was the Rolling Stones, the Bible of rock and roll, and Springsteen's Jesus.
Yeah.
So he always has been, but now you've seen in the last couple of years, even with Trump, coming out and dissing him, and calling him weak, whatever he's called him, but they're trying to rebuild his image now, like whether it was the Jimmy Kimmel show when who was the guy that went on there and somebody was on there defending him and for what he'd said about Trump. It was an actor. Well, maybe
Butter
might have been Tom.
Butter,
might have been Tom Cruise.
Who was
it was Tom
Jimmy
Cruise.
Kimmel?
It was Tom Cruise.
Oh, go ahead.
It was Tom Cruise. So my point to that being, they have the power of the machine, like you said. The publicity machines, all those things that make them look like geniuses and the true American, the new true American patriots. This is what the new patriots look like. They build those characters, but they don't understand is that small town America doesn't read those magazines. It doesn't care about those magazines, and it doesn't affect them as much. And they're either going to like it or not like it.
Bring your own guitar, old buddy. Bring your old guitar. We'll talk and drink and laugh and sing, but bring your own guitar.